World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Jana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is now.
Greetings and welcome to Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse, giving you that checkup from the neck up, getting information on your finances, more so from all levels of what you need to do to work towards your financial freedom. Of course, we're aired on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem, and of course through the Soul City Broadcasting Network, giving people an opportunity to speak and be heard and to learn some things that are not taught in our school. As you know, I belong with the How Money Works company, Wealth Wave, and our objective there is to bring financial literacy to our community. Now, for me, it's really bringing them to my communities, having the opportunity to share this information with our communities across the country, the ones that no one talks to, that they have totally been oblivious to but we still produce about about $17 trillion if you put us all together, and what we spend in businesses and companies that we don't get anything back for. As you all know, back in 2021, I was honored with the Wall Street Pioneer Award from Tulsa. And I've been on that mission ever since, sharing, because there was 600 businesses in Tulsa in Black Wall Street. And the reason is what really pushes us forward. And in this time, we're going through some serious changes taking place in our country. But during that time, you got to understand that there was segregation. And in segregation, we couldn't go to the stores. We couldn't go to the hotels. We couldn't travel. There were areas that we couldn't go in. People of color, Black and brown people. And so instead of just laying down and saying, we can't go anywhere. No, set up our own, set up areas. There's a book called The Green Book that then an excerpt of it is inside the Black African American, that's what it's called, the African American Museum in Washington, D.C., part of the Smithsonian. And in there is a copy of the Green Book. What was the Green Book? The Green Book was the book that you looked at as you drove across the country to know where you could stay in hotels, places that you could eat in respectively, to know that you could sit down and have a meal instead of taking it back to the car. These are the things that our people went through. And again, I'm bringing it up. We're in Black History Month. I give it to those of you who really know why it is in February. And it's kind of simple. It's the birth month of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. And so they chose February, not just because it was the shortest month. And so I wanted to just pay a little tribute to some history on a financial end, is that we have really taken a lot of time in putting a lot of money into this country. And it looks like in some ways things are being taken away. But the key is it'll make us tougher, and stronger, And so if you want additional information, of course, we're doing a construction on my website, anajenterprise.com. You can also go to one of our websites, which is wealthwave.com/Jana B. That's Jana with a J. JANAB. Anyway, you can always contact me at my office. We have 646-375-2121. And if you're interested in getting our books, which is the How Money Works, howmoneyworks.com. And then we have How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker is the name of the book, the title of the book. And if you'd like the book, please feel free to email me at Anaj Enterprises. That's ANAJ ENTERPRISESINC @gmail.com. And if you want the book, now there's a few books. Okay, so we have, I think I have down here. Yes, we have the How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker book, the very first book that we put out. It was by my partners, Tom Matthews and Steve Seabolt at the time. And that book is the fundamentals, how money works. Then we came out with, because as you'll all know, or may not know, but comes 2030, the year 2030, women will have in their hands to operate and manage $30 trillion. You think you need to know how money works if that's the case? Yes, that's definite. So that's another book. Then we have, which are ebooks, because I know some of you said, I don't really want a book, but if it's the way y'all give up information, we'll take it. But we do have ebooks, and that is Change Your Literacy, Change Your Life, which is understanding how money works again. And now we have a new book that's an ebook called How Money Works, The Next Step, The Next Generation. The Next Generation. Also, just a note I see here, if you have any questions, please ask them and put them in the chat. Be glad to answer questions. But with the How Money Works, The Next Generation, it specifies for ages 18 to 30, could stretch it to 40, but to how to get on the track of running into doing financial literacy, understanding what you need to do now. Oh, if we could just be 18 again. And what's available to us. So many things are available, but it's okay. It is never too late for you to start working on your finances at any point in your life. So here we are in February. We're February 6th. Okay. And guess what's taking place? Taxes. Oh, yeah, I know y'all thinking, oh, goodness gracious, you're going to talk about taxes again. Yes. What happens is in our neighborhoods, there are certain companies that focus in on our neighborhood to get something called a refund anticipation loan. It also puts us in a position of taking loans against money for a refund. Now, let's think about what that word refund means. And that means that you gave the government your money all year long, 12 months. Mm-hmm. And then you try to see how you can get some of it back. Well, if you had really thought about it, you could put your money in your own pocket. And that means figuring out how much can I keep to break even with the government. I've paid enough in taxes. I know we all think that we've paid enough, but when I've paid enough and I come out breaking even and I have kept my money in my pocket, you want to know how powerful that is? Okay, I know you've all seen this commercial. I think they might have taken it out because I talk about it so much. But the commercial is this guy, Larry, standing on the top of a table dancing, and he's saying he got a $10,000 refund. Okay, let's think about this. $10,000 refund. That's $833.33 per month. Larry could have kept that in his pocket. What could he have done with it? He might have invested it. He might have been able to pay some bills. He might have built his emergency fund. I'm heading towards those 7 money milestones. And then it might even mean that he might have been able to put money into a policy to take care of his family. He might have been able to save for his retirement. No, he gives it to the government to hold for 12 months and then they give it back. No interest. But that's what they promote in our neighborhoods. I know there's plenty of neighborhoods they don't talk about that at all because it doesn't make sense. We fight and forge for our refunds instead of making sure we plan well enough so that we have more money in our pocket all year long. Just a thought. I know some of y'all think it's the savings plan of the century by when I get my refund. How about having that money in your pocket? That's just a thought. That's my philosophy. That's what I tell my tax clients all the time. And also, just to note, if you want a strategy, a financial strategy, or look what we call our discovery coverage, our discovery call, a discovery call shows you where you are and where you'd like to be. And so if you'd like that, it's free, no obligations. It's 646-375-2121. We'll be glad to provide that for you. It's in the book. Okay. So we're going to talk about taxes today and what we should. Now, I'm going to make a note. I just talked about refunds, didn't I? Those of you who are claiming on your taxes, 1, maybe some child tax credit, 2, earned income credit. Y'all know who I'm talking about. We'll may be able to go through that a little bit today. But if you are claiming any of that and have filed your tax returns, because January 28th, we were able to push the button, but you may be looking now to say, where's my refund? And many of the tax shops in our neighborhoods will say, well, we can get you your money or part of it early. Yeah, but you're paying for that. You're paying a fee. You paid the fee to get it back sooner. Don't do that. I'm just saying, it's not necessary. Unless you got the marshals waiting at your door and you got to have this money, you can wait the 14 days or the 21 days that it takes to get your refund back. You can do that. And if you're having trouble, come talk to me. Come to Anaj Enterprises and we can look and do an analysis for you so you can plan better. I know that W-4 form that they gave you when you went to start to work was confusing, and it was supposed to be made easier 2 years ago. It got worse. Okay. But sometimes you just need someone to help you. And we at Anaj Enterprises are glad to do that, to help you and give you some guidance and in what you can do and to help build for your financial future. That's what we can do for you. Okay. So back to the fact that, yes, and you call 646-375-2121 and say that you either want the book or you would like to have an analysis, or you would just like to talk to somebody, or you were concerned about how you're withholding on taxes. For a quick moment, let me talk to my young folks who are just coming out into the workforce. So when you get your paycheck, the first thing you say is, they took all my money in taxes. They did not take your money in taxes. And if you ever need an analysis of that, just call our office and we can help you. Just walk through it. Why? Because what you're paying is you pay your federal tax. Yes. You pay your state, sometimes local tax, state and city tax. Here in New York, we pay federal, state, New York State, and New York City. But there's another partner that you have in there. They're called Social Security and Medicare tax. Those taxes are supposed to go towards your future. Well, we're hoping that Social Security, and we'll do a show on Social Security because it's confusing. But with your Social Security, you're not getting that back in taxes. That doesn't even come into, it's a Social Security tax. And it's held. Why? Because it's helping those who are on Social Security now and paying in. It wasn't meant to be. Social Security was not meant to be here all the way to now, 2025, but it is. And someone's got to pay into it. And so that's what you're doing. So don't say that you're paying it all in tax. It's income tax, because it's not. And we can show you that too. So that being said, in dealing with the tax world today, it opened up on the 28th. Those of you who are getting child tax credits or you're getting earned income credit, February 15th should be the first time that you see the refund come. Hopefully you have it set up where it's a direct deposit. But what's also interesting? IRS has opened up their own direct filing. This is the first year. So individuals have the rights that instead of going to a preparer, they can go directly to IRS and they can plug in the numbers and see what their refund is going to be. New York is participating also. So therefore, there should be a site there. I haven't gone to it yet, but I'm going to go check and see what's going on. But New York is also participating in the tax direct so that you can, some states are not. So that means you've got to go and do your state somewhere else. But New York is one. Okay, so I think I gave all the up information. I know some of it's not all positive, but it's something that we have to do. There's one thing that's guaranteed is that you death and taxes. So you have to be very cognizant of making sure you file. Short note, there's also individuals who are out here who are telling you that are scamming. And I talked about that on another show with Tony Rogers, Urbanology, was the fact that there's a lot of scams out here. Let me tell you straight up, I've been doing this since taxes since 1978. IRS is not going to come and give you an email address to give them your information. They already have your Social Security number, so they shouldn't be asking for that. They shouldn't even ask for the last four digits. So all of this is scamming. And they say, IRS says that this is the highest year of scams taking place. We haven't even gotten real started. And the highest has started already. Please be careful, audience. I truly implore you. Do not give up people your information. If they say that you're eligible for a refund, contact IRS, okay? And see if you are, or contact an accountant who did your taxes or preparers. Okay, do not put yourself in a position of where you're giving up your information, because 9 times out of 10, someone's scamming. And once they get your date of birth, your social security number, and your name, the dark web can be very, very cruel to you. So don't do it. When in doubt, make a call. Make the call to IRS has a division just for scams. You can report them. These are the things that are important. I could go through the same tax records and stuff, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about some of the standard deductions and things that changed because Congress voted on this before this new administration even came in. They did some voting on making changes. Your tax brackets changed. What's a tax bracket? Is the periods of how much you're really paying the government in percentage. When you were in school and they did the percentages, I think that was when we were like in third grade. This is where it comes to truth, is that you've got to understand what percentage are you paying. Some people say, hey, I can't beat Uncle Sam. I'll pay whatever. You don't have to do that. There are things that you can do to strategize, to make things different. Oh, I meant to do this before I started the show. I'd like to shout out to Script, Second Chance Reentry Program. This week, I had the honor, because I've been showing financial literacy into those brothers and sisters, but this case it was brothers that have been incarcerated and are coming out. What a beautiful thing. They're coming out of prison, and to know how money works. They all got the How Money Works book, but it was the most impactful graduation that I got a chance to speak at. And these gentlemen talked about one thing in particular: no excuses. No excuses. And it's true. We don't have really a serious problem. We have no purpose. We need serious purposes to be out here to make a difference. We all came into this world, I think, with a purpose. Even our ancestors, when slavery was taking place, they would look inside it at the young child and say, are you the one? Are you the one that's going to make a difference? Well, we all are the ones that are making differences, but we have to have the purpose. So it was a powerful graduation, and heads up, hands up, and all praises to, we've got the Script family, above all, the director and CEO, Ed Andrews. Definitely, it's been a wonderment and just a pleasure to work with all of you. And yes, Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse did go into the prison. It was an experience. But you know what? The beauty in it is that we can help our folks. And that's what's more important. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Congratulations to them. It is so important. Definitely. So that being said, let me go back to what we were supposed to be talking about: taxes. Death taxes guaranteed. But more so is that we need to be prepared and understand how this system works. So for this portion of our show, I decided that I'm not going to just talk about the taxes. I am going to deal with one sore part to me is the preparers. You need to know how to really find a good preparer. Some of the mom and pop stores that are out here, some are really honest and good, and some of them, They got some issues. So I thought that the best thing I could do is to give you some red flags and things to look out for. So when using a tax preparer, number one, you don't have to pay a preparer. You can do things for free. Okay, they have online, like I said, there's irs.gov, and you can plug in your numbers. And if you really don't have what they call a complex return, rental income property, real estate tax, mortgage interest, these are things that, you don't give a lot to charity. If you give a considerable amount to charity, you need to get someone to work with you. If you give away clothing or items to like Goodwill, Salvation Army, get a receipt. Write out all the things that you might be too late this year because we've already started the season, but take that time and write out what you've given. You may be surprised at how much you have donated if it's not cash. If you're in a church or religious organization or any of the different nonprofits that are out here, we give to our out of our heart. Sometimes we don't want to take the deduction, but the key is that if you are giving, you should be able to deduct, and it can help you on your taxes. But you just need to make sure that you're giving it the right way, and got the receipts. If you're in a church or a religious organization, get a receipt. Don't give cash. I know we love our places of worship, not cash. You can give a check, a money order. You can Zelle it, Cash App, all them things that are out here. But please make sure that you get a receipt or some way to tell what is that you gave, the amount. Okay? All right. So let's get back to this tax preparer. Now, I have been a tax preparer since 1978. A lot of people don't do some of the things to keep abreast of the tax laws. The tax laws change every year. Something changes. They need to be on top of it. So when you're looking at the opportunity of paying them, big key. If you're paying somebody to do your tax returns, cash is changing, even Bitcoins for some people. If that's what's happening, let me tell you, they need to sign the return. It's a spot there for a paid preparer. Do not take returns that say self-prepared when you did not self-prepare. And I see that a lot, where people have come to my office to get their returns done after they've gone somewhere else for years. And it says self-prepared. Self-prepared means there's nobody to tell how that return was done because you did it yourself. And if you did not do it, and you wind up in an audit, the first thing the auditor will ask is, did you prepare your returns? And if you say no, did you pay someone to prepare your returns? If you say yes, do you happen to know what the name of the person is and where they're located? Because it's not signed here. They need to sign the return. And if they're not willing to sign the return, then you don't want them as a preparer. Now, if you file your own returns, that's the right thing. You self-prepare, but not Nikki's. Another spot is that if you want a preparer, you want one that's around year-round. Now, I know we've seen these pop-up places, especially in our neighborhoods and communities. They pop up, they're there for tax season, they close down, and then you can't find them. You can't get even sometimes a copy of your return. That's not good. So you want availability. You look for a preparer that's available year-round, and in the case to be able to answer questions, or if issues and situations come up. Things happen. IRS sometimes just want to know, how did you prepare? How did you come up with this return? And so therefore they need to be around so they can explain it. Consistent uh, service fees. Okay, that's another big one. If someone is preparing your returns and they're connecting to your return and say into your refund, and if you, depending upon what your refund is, they get a percentage, that's not, that's against the IRS codes, our code, and that you're not supposed to relate your fees to someone's refund or lack thereof. You get paid for your work, whatever the fees. And the fees, wherever you go to get your taxes done, the fees should be displayed. And if you need a time to figure out how you, what you need as far as your t- levels of forms, well, they should be able to give you an estimate of how much and how much time is it going to take. Okay, these are the things that you should be doing while you're preparing and seeing who's going to prepare your tax returns if you're not going to do it yourself. Okay, so it's very important consistency. They should have it listed. They should have also the your Bill of Rights marked in their office, visible. Also, if they are not a certain qualifications, they if they are have taken the annual tax analysis every year, they do one that where you need to know how taxes are done, the changes in the tax laws. If they haven't taken that and they have a designation, they need to put it up. You need to know who you're dealing with. If they don't have it up, you need to then make sure that you ask them what their qualifications. E-filing to ensure that your preparer offers IRS e-file. It should show it, or at least be able to, if you ask, they should. Most returns, especially those in New York, your New York State has made it mandatory that you e-file unless there's a serious situation that you can't, not just because you don't want it e-file. Okay, so therefore e-filing is important. There's also the ability that you can have your refund directly deposited. There's no fee for that. If someone's charging you for that, that's wrong. That time to walk away. There's also ways of which you can, a preparer can get their fees, because I'm speaking for the preparers of America today. You know what it is trying to follow a client to try to get your fee for doing that heavy work that you've done. So, since that's the case, if you don't want to have to do that, they can take their fee out of the refund, but there are papers that need to be filed so that you understand that it is not based on the refund. It is based on you get them being able to pay them, and you don't have the money to pay for the returns to be done. Okay, so that can be done, but they should be e-filing the returns. Now, back in the days when I first started, we didn't have anything e-filed. Everything was done in paper form. And we had to get carbon paper and put it between so that the client could have a copy. Aha, copy. You are supposed to have a copy of your tax returns. And that's in any case, whether it be electronic, because sometimes we don't want the paper. And that's okay, because the prepare, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to print all those pages. But you should have a copy and an explanation and an engagement letter. The engagement letter is telling you that this is the information I'm giving to the preparer, and they are preparing the return based on what was received. These things are necessary for to have. You shouldn't be where you walk in with your W-2 form, plop it down, walk away, and come back. No one asked you a question, didn't see what your situation is, don't don't really care. That's not good. So don't let that happen. We deserve the same respect as anybody else when it comes in this country when we're doing business with people. And also, we deserve the rights to get the best type of service that is to create our tax returns. No, everybody doesn't want to do their returns. That's why you pay people to do it. But then you deserve to have the respect on an even plane that you are able to receive a copy of your return. And if something should happen where IRS comes back and asks questions, or New York State or any state asks questions, well, what you should do is that person should be able to assist you. Their obligation is to tell how was the return prepared, what was used, what identifications were used, what forms were used, more than just the W-2 form, what type of receipts were given. If it's a child situation, then does that child really belong to you? Yes, I'm going there because many of people have started basically selling their children. If they didn't get uh, taxable income, they give the child's social security and birth date to the to a friend, not necessarily even a family member. I know this is going to sound terrible. Okay, someone says I have one of the best preparers. Oh, thank you so much. Whoever they are, thank you. I try to do my best. My office tries to do the best. But these people, they will sell their children's information. Okay, we need to stop doing that. One thing, I was talking to the other show host, Tyrone Glover, when we were talking about credit. And we have the situation where with the credit, we have a tendency when we done messed up ours, we go get the child's social security. Stop doing that. You need to stand on your own and clean up your house. But don't do this to these children who haven't even started their lives, So definitely it is so important that you don't get someone who says, well, I can get you more money if you have a child. And then maybe they may even come up with the child's social security and stuff for you. Not legal, not lawful. Okay. And we need to stop that. That's not a good thing. The key is if you ever get messed up in that kind of situation, there's some serious perjury penalties. Do you see at the end of your tax returns? If you've never looked at it because someone just said sign here, take time and read it and see it says that the information is provided, and if it's falsely given, it is under the laws of perjury. That's 3 to 10 years. Why would you do that? You don't need to do it that way. Do things right, and then you'll get righteous things back. Okay, so that's one of the things as far as e-filing. You want to do it. Now, if your children, key point that people don't usually ask, preparers for some reason stopped asking, is that if your children go to after school, if they're under 13, okay, if they go to after school that you pay for, not regular school, okay, but after school. If they go to camp, if they go to a special service like karate class or tennis lessons, those things that are after school, but for child care, they take care of the child. You may be able to get some deductions for it. It's not a lot. Sometimes it's as little as $600, but every bit counts. Okay. So just thought I'd throw that in there. And again, the best way to receive your return, I believe, this is just my opinion, you should get a direct deposit. We got folks out here who are stealing checks and washing them. Yeah, I said washing. Someone said, but what is washing? One of my clients, she says, I can't believe that they wash off the name and they put in a new amount. So be careful with that. That's another scam. All right, records and receipts. You should keep your records and receipts for 7 years. It's needed because IRS can come back and ask. And if you don't have the proof, then they may disallow it. But the bigger part is that ask the preparer how long do they keep the records? Because if you don't keep them, then hopefully you can get it from them. Yes, you can get it from IRS, but if IRS is challenging you, you would like to not have to go there to get it. You would rather be able to have your form, your copy. If you don't have your copy, then at least the preparer should have it as long for 7 years. After 7 years, they shred it. I know I do. I shred them because paper becomes a lot. Now, I was talking about the qualifications and credentials. You have people who are CPAs, enrolled agents. You have general accountants. Every single one of these are people who can help you do your prepare your taxes. There are some other certifications that are out here. You can go to irs.gov. I know I sound like a robot, but you go to irs.gov, and any questions you have, you can ask, you can check it there. But also you can check to see if your preparer is got the credentials and are they listed. Like for myself, I am in their registry, IRS registry. So ever so often I get a call from someone. Most of my clients come from referrals, but ever so often I get a person who is not, and they come from the IRS site. Okay, so the qualifications are important. Please listen to this very carefully. Make sure you don't sign blank forms. The returns should be totally completed. If someone's handing you a blank form and just say, we'll fill it out later, because you are attesting to the truth of that document, don't put yourself in that position. Blank returns should not be. The taxpayer are responsible for filing a complete and correct tax return. Now, we know we have our family members who will do the return for us, but you want to make sure that they're filing it. Are they mailing it? Are they taking it into IRS? Are you taking it into IRS? These are the options you have. The preference is e-file, but if not, you definitely don't want a situation of where you think the return has been filed and it has not. Because guaranteed IRS will be reaching out to you in about 3 years. They wait. And there's a compliance issue. Yeah, it's compliance. To be in compliance means that you filed timely. Now, this year, our tax season has started and it ends April 15th for individual returns. For business returns, partnerships, and S Corps, it is March 15th. Do not wait till the last minute to get them done, okay? Start putting your stuff together and get ready, get it out the way. I think the most relaxing part in this world is to have your taxes done, got your refund, keep stepping, So that's part and part of complete return. It needs to be completed, ready, e-filed. You should, if it's e-filed, you should have 8879 form signed that says it was completed and accepted. And you should have a code with that. These are the things that are important to make sure that you are righteously have filed your return. Mistakes. Review your return. Do they review the return? I have 3 levels of review. So they at least have 2, because we're human. We can make mistakes, but review the return before you sign the form. And ask any questions if you're not clear of what someone has put down. I'll never forget, I had a client come in and I did not do his tax returns. The reason why is that he was used to putting his preparer was used to putting $10,000 down for his uniforms. He worked for New Jersey Transit. And this just dumbfounded me. I said, $10,000 for a uniform cleaning. How many uniforms you got? 365 of them? What's the deal? $10,000 worth of deduction? Well, the preparer had died. And so, therefore, there was no proof to how the returns were prepared and how in the world you came up with $10,000. And I just told him, I said, if you want me to put that down, I'm not going to do it. I'm not the one. I have no problems that selling folks. I'm not, because that's just not necessary. Things don't have to be crazy. People put down, there's certain levels that IRS looks for as far as the potential for deductions. Now, of course, during COVID, we had a lot of illnesses and a lot of medical. And so that was a heavy time. But you want to be able to prove these things. And the preparer should be asking for the proof. What I usually tell clients is you don't have to bring in the shopping bag worth of receipts. Just know that you need to have them. And I have them to sign a document saying they have them, they have the proof. And if you get those receipts that look like film, I highly recommend that you scan them and put them somewhere in the cloud so that you have the copies, that they don't go away. Okay, there's a question. Okay, pretty pictures. How do you know if your preparer is really qualified and knowledgeable in regards to tax preparation? Good question. That's why you ask for their certifications. Um, you can give them your scenario and see how they respond to it. And if they're experienced, just like some preparers are not experienced in dealing with self-employed people, or they're not experienced with artists. You know, it took me a long time and years to understand how artists work, you know, but I know how to deal with that. But to know that is number one, you can always go to the irs.gov and see if they are part of the certifications. If they're not, that doesn't mean that they're not a good preparer. It may mean they just decided not to do the certifications. Then at that point, you want to ask them about your circumstances. You want to ask them, do you understand how to deal with someone who has rental property? Or do you understand about depreciation? These are terms, you know. Or do you know I'm retired? Can you give me guidance? You know, these are the things. And also, it's good when they have extra certifications, like the certified financial educator or their investment advisors out there. Those things add to the quality because they know what to do when you sell something. You know, have you ever dealt, if you did your taxes all along and then you decided to sell your home, you ask the preparer, have they ever dealt with situations like that? You know, those are important. But thank you for the question. Again, there are people, we're human, they can make mistakes. So in that case, if they're making mistakes, do they back themselves up? Do they come and, you know, you're supposed to protect the client. The client comes first. So if you made a mistake, you might have inverted numbers, you know, and you didn't catch it. You might have caused the client to pay penalties and interest. They should be willing to cover that. You know, most of us have insurance to cover that. You know, you want to be able to do the best, but you want to get the tax preparer who knows what you do, what you need, your area of expertise. That's what's so important. And accuracy definitely counts. Make sure any refund will be directly going to either your bank or a check to your home. It cannot go to the tax preparer's bank account. You hear me? It does not go into a tax preparer's bank account. That's commingling. No good, not to be done. So to make sure, you know, that it's not in the tax preparer's bank account, you want to review the routing numbers and the bank numbers, the bank account numbers that are on the completed return. Yes, that's true. Here it says an email, send them to Anaj Enterprises Inc. at Gmail. So those of you who watch this at the later and have a question, send me the question. I'll answer. And if you want the book again, Just let me know you want the book. I need to have an address though, so make sure that I can mail it to you, or you can get the ebook. Okay. But the accuracy, the prepare, it should not go into the tax preparer's account if there's a secondary number. Now, I know on my software, it shows another number than my number, my bank account number, and my client's bank account number. It's because there's a central section that will take the refund and separate them and send them to the respective parties. So that can be on there. But if you see that and you see it's not a number that you recognize, ask about it. Get clarification. There should be a form that shows that that money is being divided between the two entities, the tax preparer or the tax preparer's company and you. So you just have to check, review. Now, most tax preparers should have, matter of fact, all tax preparers should have what's called the PTIN, the Preparer's Tax Identification Number. We all have numbers. It's like our Social Security number. And it also was established because many tax preparers got tired of putting their Social Security numbers in the area on the tax returns, which meant that somebody has your Social Security number. So to protect us, they have the P10. People have to file and pay for that P10. And therefore, that also is a mechanism to check and see if this is a legitimate tax preparer, or is this just someone who does some taxes once in a while? Or beware of, there are people who purchase TurboTax. I'm giving a name out. They'll purchase it. They're allowed to do 5 returns, off of one fee, and they'll do that. And then it doesn't show that they were a paid preparer. It shows that it was self-prepared. Be careful. These are warning signs, But if they have the P10 and it should show on the tax return. There's a little section that asks for the P10, and there's also one for the state of New York. There's a specific identification for those of us who do taxes in New York. There are also for different states. I know for California, I have to have my own identification. Even though I don't live in California, I do taxes in California. So those are the things that are very important. And as we're winding down, if you have a preparer and they really messed up your return, and you're not satisfied with how they handled it, then you can, if, as it says here on our regulations, it says if a taxpayer suspects a tax return preparer filed or changed their tax return without their consent, they should file Form 14157A. 14157-A. That is the tax return preparer fraud or misconduct affidavit. This form has to be filled out, and it's available on irs.gov. It is make a complaint about a tax preparer. And sometimes that's the case. Now, sometimes it's just a misunderstanding. But if you see where there's really something such as, you paid the preparer and that they put down that they didn't get paid, not good. You should, though, I would say, if it's in our community, right the wrong. If you see something, say something. So what you should do is say to them, why are you not signing the return when I gave you money? Are you doing this for free? Give them a smile, because that's what needs to be done. If you know better, then you make sure they do better. Okay. And so that form 14, it's 1450 is a complaint form. Protect yourself, and above all, protect our neighborhood, protect our community. Don't let people mistreat and abuse us when they think they can because we don't know any better. It is so important that we pay attention. This is a heavy tax season. IRS has already dubbed it as spam time. People are doing so much wrong. We don't want it where they start checking the tax laws and changing it where we can't get what's rightfully ours. Like with this 2025, I thought we were leaving the SALT Act. The SALT Act was set up by number 40, what is he, 40, 47, 40, he's 47 now, so he's 45. Anyway, the T man. Okay, I have trouble dealing with it comes to tax because taxes are gauged by our Congress and how they vote to say what's getting ready to happen. And the tax laws were set up, whereas specifically as a mark um, on the deductions that we could take. And these are the things that we really need to pay attention to and get on our congressmen and congresswomen, because what happened there is that with the SALT Act, you could have real estate tax and your income tax together, and as you have them, you can't deduct more than 10,000. Where years, especially those of my dear family friends and in Long Island, you have high real estate tax and you don't get the benefit. So that's very important. I did have some slides for you, but I didn't realize I was going to talk so much. And so I just want y'all to know that it's important to be aware. Plan with your tax preparer, sit with them, talk with them. If they do things through Zoom, don't take an offense. Sometimes it's easier because you can't get to them, but that they can still service you. We're in a high-tech area. If your tax preparer, such as myself, requires a tax organizer to fill in, it's only because we want to know to make sure that you haven't forgotten something. It's very easy to forget. If you're self-employed, then you need to identify what type of self-employment. And these are the things that the tax preparer should ask. If there's a question, one more thing before I have to leave is that if you happen, because we have a family dynamic that's a little different these days, if there's a child involved or there's two children and y'all are not filing together, nor do you live together, talk to your tax accountant or preparer to see what's the best way to handle this. You both can't claim the same child, okay? But there are things that you can do if one is taking care of the child and one has the child living with them. These are little tidbits that you need to really think about and know. If you have rental income property, I'm hoping that you are putting yourself in a proper position, because with rental income property, you should be, if you're taking a loss, you should be a realtor. If not, then maybe that should be a different business. Maybe it should be an LLC, or maybe it should be an S corp. These are things that your accountant should be able to guide you. And if they can't, then therefore you need another one. So if I can be of assistance, you can always call our office at 646-375-2121. If you need any assistance, we're glad. We're open for business and we're here to help. There's a lot of information and a lot to do. So I'm glad that y'all tuned in. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Come back every Thursday. I'm going to have some more information. I'm going to cover the 7 money milestones. We've got different types of programs that we're putting out, even to the extent that I am looking for individuals. You may know some that really want to participate in the financial service arena, and they want to really be like a financial educator and share the information with others and help teach others about how money works. If you know of such persons, please get them in touch with me at 646-375-2121. I'll be glad to be part of their mentorship. Okay, the time is up. I definitely appreciate all of you. I hope you learned something today. Thank you so much. See you next Thursday at 6 p.m. And again, this is Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse signing off, giving you that checkup from the neck up on the Soul City Network and the AWHCR 90.3 FM. Thank you.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is